Okay, welcome to week 5 of Nerd Talk Saturdays. I'm James with Zero Day James. I got my boy Pat, Dion, and Adlene, and we got a couple of special guests with us, Kenny and Nikki. Today, we're pretty much going to get a quick background on these two. Nikki, I know that you're a sysadmin.
Yep.
And Kenny, what is it that you do?
Utility boy. IT specialist, but I do networking, sysadmin,
You wear all
security
the
stuff.
hats.
Yeah, all the hats. But I want to just stick to
Kenny
one
and I are
thing.
in the same boat.
Yeah, pretty
Very
much.
cool.
Yeah. So
Touch all the things.
some stuff you love, some stuff you hate.
Yeah, Nikki, I saw a post that you had recently where you're saying that you were do some project management as well.
Yeah, so I took 6 years off from being a technician because I was a consultant for a couple of years before for Microsoft Shop. So that's when I got my MCSA was way back in the day. And so I took a break from doing that to be a project manager / operations specialist. So I managed 75 technicians in the field with their day-to-day operations, doing reporting, scorecards on their behavior on updating tickets, daily meetings. They were global, so I had meetings around the clock. 6 years of that was, I did really well. I had some pretty high-profile customers, Morgan Stanley, McGraw-Hill, a lot of stuff in New York.
Yeah.
But that was just, I was excited when my techs would ask me questions that weren't about a process and more about like how to, more troubleshooting questions. And I was like, what am I doing? I'm gonna go back to being a technician in the sense of, you know, constantly learning. And I just, management wasn't for me in that moment. I came into it very early at a young age and I wrote it out for a while. But so I went across the street to become a sysadmin for a software company. And that was exciting. So I touched AWS. Most of my time was spent in AWS, spinning up instances for servers for our customers. So that's when it just kind of reignited. I had to relearn a lot of what I studied and tested and passed my exams for, because it's real world experience at that point. So the consulting, I had a couple gigs where I'm upgrading domains from 2003 to 2008. It was a while ago. So it's been fun. I touch a lot of different technologies now and kind of want to find something more centralized in the Linux sphere. So
is that something that you would want to go back to, project management, or are you like, no, I'm done, I was cool?
No, like if I need to do something if someone needs help, like a friend's company needs help with, they need a project manager, and I can fill in and help there, but it's not necessarily a goal of mine to retreat into that space.
Got it.
So do you know Scrum?
No, it's all self-taught. So, I mean, yeah, but I did have to manage a lot of projects. I'm not certified at like PMP or anything. That was just one of the many hats I had to wear in that position.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it was.
For your MCSE, did you do a 2003 track, or you actually have like a 2012 or 2016 MCSE?
It was 2003, and then I did a couple exams for 2008 afterwards. So that's where I got my MCSE.
Yeah, I think it's 640 or something like that for Active Directory, domain services, and yeah, for the MCITP track.
I think that came with my Windows 7, like the client exam.
It was Windows 7. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was, it's been a while. So I don't plan to get any more Microsoft certifications. That's not really my area of interest anymore. I'm kind of delving back into Linux.
Right, I know you did. Last I saw that you were working on your RHCSA.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually something I wanted to ask you about too, but I want to switch gears real quick and kind of run it back. Like for a lot of the people that are watching this video are like people that are first getting into IT and stuff like that. So like, what was your journey? Like, what was your first steps into getting into what you do now?
Well,
like,
I worked on
what sparked the interest and all that?
Oh, oddly enough, AOL and MySpace were like where I hung out when I was a teenager, and some IRC channels here and there. And I had most fun in the AOL chat rooms, booting people out, changing their text and just little things. And MySpace is when I started really looking at how things work with the HTML. And I mean, there's custom layouts all over the internet at that time, but I didn't want the watermark, so I had to learn how to create my own.
Nice.
And I hid a lot of the basic stuff that was on your profile, just because I didn't want certain things visible. And so I had like the privacy in mind before they implemented the private profile. And then I was like, oh, good. Now this is all like not public anymore. So looking at the HTML code and everything, that kind of got the wheels spinning for me into where I am. I don't do anything with design or web design or anything.
You don't work with AOL Instant Messenger anymore? When you said that, all I thought about was like people texting like, "What's your SN?"
Oh my gosh!
Can't forget about AIM.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just gave my social security number because I thought that's what they asked for.
Right.
But what's funny is I was listening to Permanent Record at Tennant's book.
Yes.
And there's a chapter where he talks about it's pretty good. And I
really
felt
good.
like I wasn't the only one who got duped. So I also went to this 6-month unaccredited training program for MCSE training. So it was an accelerated course to get you on the path to be a sysadmin. And this was in 2004, I believe. Well, that school no longer exists, and the tuition was ridiculously high for what it was. I was weighing that between college and this fast track, and as a teenager, I wasn't really thinking about long-term, like,
The school's for fools.
Right, yeah.
The guy knew his stuff. The class was pretty good. There was already existing sysadmins in there, which should have been a red flag. But
taking the course.
yeah, I took the course. I still have my books. I still have all my work on my bookshelf. And the school no longer exists, so I don't put that on my resume. I just, you Google them and it is a scam. But that's what got me in the door to getting my first tech job at Siemens Business Services. So that was the first one in my class to get a job. And I was
You were working for Siemens, like the electrical production company?
Yeah, there's so many different branches. So they make.
Oh, like, okay. I know there's like Siemens labs and stuff like that too. I'm an electrician, so we work with Siemens product all day.
Oh, yeah,
right.
James. Yeah. You know, did I show you guys my wall in my Delray house?
No. Is there Siemens on it?
Siemens on it?
No, it's no Siemens on it.
I thought that's where we were going with this.
We'll go later.
All right.
All right. So Kenny, you want to?
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny. You mentioned Siemens. I first started getting into networking with Philips Healthcare. When I went to ITT, got an associate's in computer engineering. Got a job, and that's when I kind of went more in depth with networking because they installed telemetry system. The number one, supplier they like buying from was Cisco. So that's when I started looking into it. I was like, all right, let's see what this is. So I started learning, getting more familiar with different networking like OSPF and all that good stuff. And I think I worked there for about 6 years. And within the 6 years, I was like on and off with like CCNA. I was like, all right, or CCENT. It's like, hey, I'll take one day. Then it made a requirement. Hey, you need this. I was like, all right. So started with that, and I ended up going and being I left that company, went to be a infrastructure guy. That's when I got more hands-on in data center because we had a data center here. I'm in Tampa. So the job was over the bridge in Clearwater. So pretty much the infrastructure they had there was literally broadcast storms. So I went in, decided to redo the whole network, got more in depth with pretty much networking, of course, security, because they were a big, Sonic Wall. They use a Sonic Wall, and that's when I actually started learning more about Sonic Wall. So, once I started learning more of that stuff, I just said, you know what, let me just start grabbing a book and start, developing my knowledge even more. So you know, fast forward, I end up getting more in hands with VMware, learning that stuff. And that's where whole system admin stuff started coming in. Started rebuilding servers, putting, 6.7 into a few of the servers. Then we started getting into AWS cloud stuff. So I said, all right, let me learn some cloud stuff while I'm at it. Started learning installations, or instance, I should say, of doing Server 2012, VMware, tying that all in with our infrastructure, doing a VPN site-to-site. We're a small company. Pretty much that got me here, and now I just grab books, learn, trying to further the knowledge. So if somebody's trying to, get into a networking side, I say start small, learn. YouTube's best friend.
And what certifications would you recommend, and what certifications do you hold today?
Networking wise, of course, everybody has to start. Some people want to start with Net Plus, that they can get a introduction to the networking side. Now I see CCNA or Cisco. Some people just jump straight into Cisco, which is not bad as well, because they teach you Net Plus stuff plus more, including the routing protocol, switching stuff, and also automation. Right now, I hold, I don't know how many certs, but I have CCNA, routing, switching, wireless, security, data center, and I hold CCNP enterprise, which routing and switching, Cisco design.
So CCDP.
Yeah, CCDP. I just passed the core for data center. Of course, Palo Alto was because of you. What else I have? I have no, that's it pretty much. Just Cisco. I tried to go for AWS, but I had a lot going on, and I was going to push the exam back. I said, let me take it. Of course, I failed it. So I was like, I knew that was happening. So
don't say that, dude.
Yeah, listen. No. It was on me because I tried to do a lot of things, putting everything in.
I think you forgot one that's I think it's pretty critical.
What's that?
You did do the CCIE writing.
Oh yes, I always forget about that.
Yeah. So
I did. Yeah, right before the cutoff, I did pass CCIE written. I actually had a buddy of mine ask me, when do I start for the lab?
Mm-hmm.
I told him probably end of the year. Let me just, because right now I'm trying to but get more in depth with automation.
So you think because right now, how it was before, if people don't know, the Cisco tracks have changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
In February 24th, 2020. But so right now, since you're getting, I don't want to use that word, but like deep into the data center world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you're going to go CCIE Enterprise, or you're going to go CCIE a different track, like as
honestly,
service provider or data center, or obviously?
I probably do enterprise since I'm already on that track and I, mess with it and stuff. I'm constantly keeping knowledge fresh because at my job now, I use some of it, sometimes I don't, and which kind of sucks. It's hit or miss, and but I'm gonna continue enterprise route, and then see where I am in life, and go for maybe data center.
So right now, for everyone asking, I'm not a millionaire. I don't think anyone on this chat is a millionaire. So what would you think, except for James, because you can see his millionaire lab over there. So what would you recommend someone to study if they don't have the money to purchase anything? What would be your recommendations? I'm average guy. I don't have money to go buy equipment. What would be the best way to practice and get hands-on for the CCNA, CCNP level, at that? Because if you're at the CCIE level, you should have a couple of bucks in the bank.
Okay, so when I first started off, I was heavy on Craigslist.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a few routers. Yeah. I bought a few switches. And listen, I was literally telling the guy who actually, I have equipment downstairs in my garage, but when I started off, I wasn't making a lot of money, so I went on Craigslist. The guy was, I hear where you're coming from, so here, let me give you X amount of routers for $30 or stuff like that. But now, where everybody's using Eve, NG, or GNS3. If you tight on money, definitely look into GNS3, and also Eve. They have a community version which is free, which I actually use now. So start off there. See if you can get if you have a laptop, at least 16 gigs. Don't run. Yeah, there's certain criteria you could have for running X amount of routers or switches. But if it's just basic stuff, you probably fine with a 16 gig or 8 gig laptop or desktop, which now comes 1632.
Mhm.
So I say first off, see what's around local. If you want to get hands-on experience, see what's around local. Buy a few routers and switches. If you want to try the virtual side, try Eve, NG, GNS3. Those are free. I see that the Cisco Viral 2, I forgot the name of the
CML.
Yeah, CML.
Mhm.
I seen that release, but I think that's about $200.
Yeah,
I haven't.
$199. Yep.
How much?
$199.
Oh, $199. Okay.
Yep.
I see that, but I'm already used to GNS3 and Eve.
Mhm.
A good friend of mine's actually not even what he said. Go into the forums of Eve. They have guys who build labs. Put it in there for free. Just download them. They tell you the configuration, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish. Get them, learn it. You know, so that way you can get your experience in, and if you go out to the real world, you understand it.
Do you mess around with Packet Tracer at all?
I think I did Packet Tracer for CCNA. I stopped using that, but
That's the
Packet
reason
Tracer
why I
is
asked.
Packet Tracer is another one actually, which you could start off with, which is free. That is what I started off with. Packet Tracer for like where just to break into the field. I use Packet Tracer a lot, which I honestly forget about them sometimes.
And sometimes I think the packet tracer is awesome for, obviously there's no more CCENT, ICD1, ICD2. But it's good to an extent for the new CCNA because, say for example, you do show IP interface brief. Yeah. And now if I want to do show run interface gig, or whatever, that
That's a
command
limitation. Yeah.
So that's more of an emulate. That's more on the emulator side when you use Eve and GNS3 because that's real iOS images. So now if you try to run that command in a simulator, such as Packet Tracer, those commands won't run. So you have to actually do show running config or show run pipe.
Yep.
And then grep it out. Or in Cisco where it's not called grep, you just put include or begin, etc.
Or exclude stuff like that.
You want to query that out in the config. So there's some hit or
plus
miss,
and minus,
pros and cons versus having Packet Tracer versus a real iOS device.
Correct.
And cool deal.
Yeah. But I know that who is it on Udemy? They had some free videos for Packet Tracer and just doing basic CCNA labs and stuff like that. So
yeah, David.
David. So
I just grabbed one of his free CCNA videos actually.
Yeah, they're great.
He's good. I like him. That's what I think. Some people on YouTube are trying to go towards his route.
And I think I should say 6 months ago, I did the Python. Started learning Python like half a year ago. So I started off with his stuff as well. So that way I can learn the automation side when I came to, because every new Cisco cert now includes automation. So they want you to just get familiar with
Postman.
it. So Postman, REST APIs and all that good stuff. So, which is fun.
That's cool. And for the GNS3 and EVE-NG.
Couple weeks ago.
Go ahead.
I used it also for Python course from this programmer girl I follow on Instagram.
Which one?
It's this girl Blondie Bites that's her handle on Instagram. So she has a
Okay,
course.
no, I don't follow her.
I bought it like 2 years ago.
Have you gone?
I went back and I went through and why do they teach it? Her course was great, but every online training I've seen is like learning how to build a game. And I think that's like the intro to like
on Python. Yeah, I've seen the same thing. A lot of people start off their videos and they're like, just build a like basic video game through Python.
Yeah, and it's like, I want to learn to automate my work. So that's why I wanted to learn it. Scripts to do the mundane stuff that I do on a daily. And now that, I've recently got laid off from the museum, I don't have to worry about that, but these are good skills during this quarantine time to practice at home. And I actually just took note of that site, by the way, and that
EVE-NG.
Oh yeah, I definitely.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, EVE-NG, and it's cool. It's like I had some problems even with EVE-NG and GNS3. I was against that. About 5 months ago, I hated it.
Were you a Jeremy Charles to the core or what?
It's because of Kenny. I think this is when we first linked up and we first got, maybe it was longer than 5 months ago. I think
it was around January. Yeah, it was around January.
Yeah. And I don't know. I tried, and then we have another friend named Bruno. He's from your motherland. I don't know where he's from Africa as well. Maybe one day we'll get him on, but his internet sucks. But that's an inside joke. I love you, Bruno. You know that. And, so he came over. He literally lives in Lake Worth. He lives about 40 minutes from me from here. He came over and goes, yeah, we're going to get this installed. I let him sit in the chair and drive. Fucking guy didn't do shit. Like he couldn't even get it set up. And I uninstalled his package. He's like, oh, wait, perfect for me. I'm like, yeah, we're perfect for you. And then Kenny logged in and it worked. So I don't know. And I was always against that because I like physical gear. I like to plug things in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely enjoying and loving the fact that I get to actually plug in a console cable into a router or a switch and get into this command line and work on it.
Listen,
I was using like one of the last night, Keith Barker, his lesson that I was on was using a virtual lab.
Mm-hmm.
It was all laggy and the commands aren't like all exactly the same and stuff. So it's cool, but yeah, there's nothing like having physical gear.
Yeah, because you have to remember all those physical labs that, from Jeremy, from everything, and it's not even about CBT Nuggets, it's about the whole community online. It's all emulators, right?
Yeah.
So some commands, you have to use the question, you have to navigate around, it's like, it's a hit or miss with certain commands and with certain syntax and etc. But I think it's pretty cool, I
know that when I was going to CCNP route actually, my job actually has a Stormwind Studio, which is a training. I must say probably one of the top 3 guys I actually like for training was Raymond Lacoste. He breaks stuff down, and he was actually using live equipment. He was remote in. He was actually having on-air issues. He was like, let me go troubleshoot it real quick. I'll be right back. And he tells you what was wrong, and that's a good thing, which I like about hands-on. Because I think my garage I have like 6 switches. I just got a new router from my job. They had a 2900 router, Cisco. So I was like, why not? Let me take it. Then I just got my hands on a Cisco AP. I have a image for a wireless controller. So once I start my wireless track again for probably CCNP, or I'm sorry, the CCNP Enterprise that specializes in wireless, of course I'll use that. That way I can go further into my studies. But it's nothing like having real equipment in your hand, because I have to touch to pretty much learn that's the concept.
Real equipment to run into real roadblocks that happen for the most basic shit, dude.
Yep.
Sometimes it's happened to me all day.
And that's why I think like Keith now is, I don't know if you've seen his thumbnail or something like that. I actually picked up some routers and switches from someone. He took a picture and like now he set it, in his house or whatever. And that's when he set up that little Raspberry Pi.
Mm-hmm.
And he's probably getting the same thing. He's like, okay, the emulator environment's good to learn, but like this is the real world. Like actually let's get some stuff like hearing click, 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 like everything and making everything work. So what about you, Adlene and sexy?
Yeah, I was about to say, these 2 guys over here.
Quiet.
Hi. I wasn't listening anymore.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Yeah. Keep talking.
Like they're not talking about hacking. I'm out of here. Okay, how about
keep doing your Cisco things and everything.
What
have you been up to? Yeah, what have you been up to, Dion, this last week? You've been posting a lot of stuff. Your page has been growing like crazy. Your YouTube channel's growing like crazy.
Yeah, it is.
You're blowing me out of the water.
Someday. Yeah, someday. But this week I was trying some Betacap and AdMed from the book from CyberArms with the Raspberry Pi.
Nice.
Very useful.
How do you like that book? Because I was actually thinking about purchasing a couple of those and doing a little giveaway here pretty soon.
Yeah, do that, man. It's really complete. Right.
I think I'm going to buy one from him as well. Like, he makes his information accessible and easy to understand for someone like myself who's not really a hacker.
Yeah, same here.
But I mean, I haven't played with a Raspberry Pi or anything. I'm like
Yeah.
enterprise level, like sysadmin. We don't touch anything specific. We always have like a guy for that.
Yeah.
A network.
Protocols.
Yeah.
You had to do everything, but so I really want to check out his book. So I'm very excited about that.
Is
Plus, I
it
wanna
okay?
support him.
Oh,
He's a good
10
guy.
minutes.
Oh, there we go.
Uh-oh.
So, is the book for like any specific Raspberry Pi, or can you use pretty much any of them, like Raspberry Pi B, Raspberry Pi 3, whatever?
Yeah, I think Raspberry Pi Zero as well.
Oh,
But
really?
if you want a little bit of power, at least get it.
Great, and then it has a built-in wireless card too.
The
Yeah,
4,
exactly.
the
Yeah.
4 is
They-
the one that not only has a built-in wireless card, but is capable of packet injection and what else was it?
But I used the 3, and then with my wireless adapters, I got my packet injection.
There
Yeah,
you go.
promiscuous mode and
So
get
it-
all into that.
Well, yeah,
And it's
you
not
don't
only
need
for
a-
Raspberry Pi. You can use it in everywhere. I mean, this is just the beta cap. Real good explanation. Everything is clear, not too much chit chat or bullshit. It's just straight to the point what you want to learn, and
Yeah,
that's what I
I'm
like
gonna-
about it. I really
Okay.
recommend this book to everyone.
I'm sold. I don't know how much. His name's Daniel, right? Daniel paid you to
Yeah, at CyberArms.
advertise his book right now, but
At
God,
CyberArms.
yeah. Another good book. Speaking of Python and automating stuff, I know Nikki, that's what you were talking about. Every time I go to my local bookstore, there's these like series of books for Python and Linux, all this stuff. I think it's called "Automate the Boring Stuff" with Python.
I actually have that book.
Oh,
That's a
nice.
great
Yeah.
book.
That's one that I wanted to
Yeah.
check out.
I got it at DerbyCon last year.
Well, there you go.
I came back with a stack full of books, even though I knew I wasn't ready for some of them. But I'm excited about that one now that I understand.
Yeah, that's a good book right there too.
Well, but I don't have that one.
That's a good book. That's a
Yeah.
good book.
All right, Adlene, break us off. What have you been up to?
I'm still working on Docker, as I was for the last couple of weeks, and I just discovered that Docker is an awesome platform for pen testing. You know, because now Docker is running the Docker Hub, where you can pull images and run them on your computer and everything, and all the guys who they doing scripts and softwares for pen testing needs a lot of versioning. So you need that specific version of PHP, that specific version of, I don't know, like Python 2.4, 2.4, 2.5. And when you have your Kali Linux or everything, it's pretty much hard to have all those versions into one system. So when you have Docker, you can get rid of all those versioning problems, because you can just pull an image, and it's like a virtual environment where you can have Python 2.4, Python 3, specific versions of PHP, I don't know, like Node and everything, and all that into the same system. And that is pretty cool. And I was doing some crawling, some finding information, mining informations into GitHub. There's a good tool for that is called Git Miner, and that takes a lot of time to find all those informations using dorks and everything. But if you have like a VPS, you can run that on your VPS, let it crawl.
And what is a
mine
VPS
stuff.
for those people that are asking, what the hell are you talking about?
Oh yeah, it's a virtual private server. Like when you get a server online, you can have a mutualized one where it's built.
What vendor are you
with this-
using for that?
I'm using CentOS 7 into a CompTIA server.
Okay.
I think those servers are pretty cool because you have infinite bandwidth, and you have like 1.6 terabyte of storage, so you can run pretty much a lot of things on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and there's a Kali image on the Docker Hub where you can pull into your VPS, and you have a lot much more power to like brute forcing passwords, hash cracks, and
Exactly,
everything.
because it's better to do that on those bots versus your local machine.
Yeah, especially for people that only have a laptop that most of the time have a poor graphic cards and like a very poor processor and everything. It's much cheaper to take a VPS and run your stuff there. And you basically just need an internet connection and run your powers on the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
So the VPS you're using, is it cost or is it free or?
Oh, it's a paid one.
Okay.
It's actually a paid one, but
Okay.
it's like 20 or 30 bucks a year. It's very cheap. Yeah, it's very cheap.
That's cheap.
And it's cheap for a reason, because those VPS are nude. You know, they just you are just prompted with an SSH key, and everything is nude in that servers. No firewall, nothing. You have to set up all that if you're willing to run any web applications and everything. You need a bit of skills for that, but if you take it just for, you know, the Linuxing stuff and everything, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, because you have to implement a WAF if you want to actually a web application firewall. You don't know what WAF before you hit your web server if you're running that in Apache, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to be running that wide open. But
so first thing I did when I got that VPS is installing Docker, putting all my images there, pulling Kali, PHP, and everything, and it's pretty easy. So I really think that, you know, people in DevOps, project management, sysadmin, everything should know Docker today.
Yeah, no, totally, and that's something I've been messing with and trying to learn more of, because that's something Kubernetes, Docker, all that good stuff. I always thought about that as DevOps, and that was never my forte, because it's like, I'm more of a networking guy. System guy.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm into cybersecurity, so I was thinking that, what I'm gonna do with Docker, it's for DevOps and software engineers and everything.
Exactly.
But but it can really help you when you need to optimize resources. And
yeah, it's funny you say that. Automation course I was taking, and I thought I would never learn Docker, and he actually helped you learn Docker, because we virtual using CentOS, you know, to install Docker on and pretty much run our images for some routers. That way we can learn Python or Chef or Puppet. So it's kind of neat.
Yeah, and that's, you know, when you're doing some security stuff and everything in your laptop, when you're prompted with the first Kali image you download and install on your laptop, you may be exposed to some risks when you attack, you know, when you're trying some CDFs and everything. But when you're running Docker, you are just exposing the ports that is into your docs, you know. So your whole server and everything is there's like an air gap between them.
That's cool. So we have about 2 minutes. So hopefully we can actually have a closure, not like last week. Just like
cut off. I got cut off talking about the Brady Bunch.
So I guess like it's another minute and a half. So I guess we can go like closing. And what do you guys have planned for this week? Like this week, I'm actually going to start moving some stuff, and I'm actually going to be making an Apache server video installing 20. Ubuntu 20, and then installing an Apache server, and I want to test some stuff, and then a VPN server on Windows Server 2019. So look out for those videos. So go on. Nice. Dion, what about you?
I'm gonna make
link in bio.
How to exploit video.
Okay.
Nice.
And I think Betacap as well.
Okay. So we have another minute. So what about you, James?
Same old thing for me. I finally scheduled my CCNA, so I have a date. So that puts a fire under me, right?
Good luck.
Nice.
Let's go.
So I was able to actually like get down like how much time I have to put in every week, and I've been on top of it. So yeah, I'm stoked.
45 seconds. What about you, Ken?
Yeah.
Man, I just been going just doing so learning.
Nikki, what about you? We're about to.
Nikki,
Nikki, you're mute.
Yeah, I seen you've been muted. Were there like protesters walking by right now, or?
There's construction in the new building across the street.
Okay.
All right, one I think is going to be killing soon.
I'm still working on KVMs in my CentOS box. So
Nice.
We didn't even talk about the RHCSA, whatever. All right, Adlene, what do you got? Hurry.
Nothing more to say from me.
All right, man. So
Docker.
take care, guys, and until next
Yeah.
time, have a good one.
Thanks for everybody
Thanks.
coming on.
Thank you.
Again, if anyone's interested in doing it, let us
Hit
know.
us up, hit
and
us
you can
up.
come on with us. 83% of the time, I don't even know what these people are talking about, but whatever. I
You'll
throw
learn from
myself
each
into
other.
conversations anyway, so.